So today we're going to circle back to the Brahma Viharas. And our reason for making this choice today was we were speaking to somebody, and her definition of the Brahma Viharas, or her orientation, is with the word connection, that it's related to connection, and so we found that intriguing. We wanted to talk through that lens.
We wanted to talk through that lens and also look back at and reflect upon what we wrote in our book. Like, what did we say the Brahma Viharas were about? And we remembered a lot of it, but it's nice to review it. So we're going to read some of the section that we wrote on the Brahma Viharas, because we talked about them as positive qualities and sublime emotions.
And emotions often exist in relationship to other people, in connection. Wouldn't have to be with just people. Could be connection with my cat. I have lots of sublime emotions. So, or connections to nature, or what have you, but really about often exist in connection.
I'm just going to insert this here. It's probably a little bit too early, but it reminded me this morning when I woke up, I had dukkha, or kind of the opposite of Brahma Vihara, so to speak, on my mind, and was thinking about a section of the Pali Canon where the Buddha talks about dukkha being attached to people that you don't love and separated from those that we love, and that this is a particular kind of connection, dukkha. So,
And right, when it feels like the Brahma Viharas, it's connected to those that we love, not to those that we don't love,
right,
or that are very difficult for us. And then it goes a different direction. So that's a good point. Connection is, in a way, a neutral term, and it can go many different ways.
Yeah. Do you want to read the first
I can.
paragraph? Okay, Nelly.
As we've seen, the Pali term Brahmavihara translates as the realm of the gods. The Buddha borrowed this term from the Vedic religion, which was dominant in his time and culture. Practitioners of the Brahmic religion aim to become one with the realm of the gods. The Buddha aspired towards sublime qualities that feel so good that they seem divine. As we saw earlier, there are four: compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. If we look at them in full bloom, in fully sublime mode, we may overlook the seeds of each one in their more everyday form.
That's an interesting statement, that something that's sublime is a little bit harder to catch, or not fully formed yet, and develops into something that's more sublime.
Which is why I really prefer the translation of metta, from loving kindness to friendliness, because that does not seem so, whatever, out of reach or extra special or something. It's like, it's very, I just feel friendly. I feel friendly to myself. I feel friendly to you, to others.
Right.
Of course, not always, and to everyone all the time.
Right, but that in that direction feels really good when we can feel friendly. And when it's absent, we know that that doesn't feel very sublime or
No, it's not the
divine.
realm of the gods.
Yeah.
No, not.
Yeah. I'll continue with the second paragraph. And while we may have the intention to be compassionate, loving and kind, joyful and equanimous, it's not always easy to do. Sometimes the conditions don't allow this to arise. Some traditions use affirmations or visualizations to capture and reproduce the Brahma Viharas because they feel so good. We see these qualities as intentional and aspirational, because curiously, they often develop naturally and organically in reflective meditation.
Yeah, and I would even take it a step further. sometimes, conditions don't allow these to arise. And then it's really so easy to create a self around that. Like, oh, I feel unfriendly. I don't have goodwill till that person. Maybe I have ill will. I must be, you know, whatever. My practice is not working. I'm not a good person. I mean, it can go different ways, but it's so easy to create a bad self, bad, I put in parentheses, an unevolved self around when the Brahma Viharas don't arise. That in itself is a good area for reflection.
Right, right, right. This really is looped into other teachings. It doesn't stand alone in the sense we look at a sense of self that develops, the pain and suffering that comes from this. And also, I think another mark or characteristic of this is that we change, that things change, that it's really hard to hold on to the self that's bad, because there's times when it's not bad in the similar situation, and reflection can help point this out.
Right, but on the same hand or the other hand, I'm not sure which, a self can form around being, very. I feel so friendly. I feel so even equanimous. Oh, I'm good person. Oh, my practice. Oh, I might even be better than this person over here who's not displaying those qualities. So that's another way it can go awry, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
good area for reflection again.
yeah, and we lose some of the impermanence of that because it's hard to believe that when you see something else happen. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Especially this, right, when there's strong emotions. Yeah.
yeah. One of the four Brahma Viharas we wanted to touch upon a little bit more is equanimity, because this was a interesting one in light of the definition of the Brahma Viharas as connection, because equanimity maybe functions differently for each of us and at different times, and um, we tend to define it more as steadiness, composure, but it's also defined as detachment, like detaching from connection.
And the reason why we're going to like focus in on equanimity now rather than the other three is because it's sort of easy to see them as related to connection. Obviously, compassion most easily. We feel compassion for another in the face of their dukkha, their pain, their hurt, their suffering. That's what compassion is. And friendliness, well, we can feel friendly with ourselves, like I said, friendly with other things, but feeling connected it's a connection. And then being happy for another's joy, well, that's sort of obvious. But equanimity, how is that about connection?
Yeah, there might be some surprising ways that we think of in the way we are, let's just say, able to access our better qualities when we're equanimous. I know for me, when I'm not reacting as strongly and I do have some composure, it's much more likely that I'll be able to be friendly or compassionate, um, or joy, have some joy for others.
Absolutely. So equanimity sort of sets the stage or the conditions for being able to
Yeah.
feel more connected to others, to life itself, being able to feel connected to our lives. Um, and detachment, yeah, is a misunderstanding of
Mm-hmm.
equanimity. That's
Mm-hmm.
not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe it's a good point to like end the talk here and leave it up to each of us. So should we be able to go this way or choose to go this way or whatever, to consider it, because I think especially in relationships and in connection, probably equanimity functions differently for different of us. I mean, I don't go the detachment route, but I go the other route, like historically more clingy for attachment and so
Mm-hmm.
our
Mm-hmm.
connection. So I think we
Right.
have really different habits around this.
Right, right. And to let's say, be aware of our habits is something that we do in reflective meditation practice. So this is something that you don't even probably have to think too hard. Just starting the meditation, with this Dharma talk and seeing where it goes for you, rather than trying too hard to be equanimous or figure equanimity out this morning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no idea whose turn it is to ring the bell.